guys, welcome back to the Glamour Index. So today I'm doing another foundation review video for the best and worst of the drugstore series. It has been a while since I've done a foundation review, and simply because I've been trying a bunch of foundations, and the one I'm talking about today I've actually had for at least a month and a half because I've really been trying to put it to the test and find the best method of applying it, the best products to use with it, and the best way to wear it and all this stuff. Because there are some foundations that you just have to work with a little bit, and I try to find the best method for working with every foundation as good as possible so that I can give a fair review, just so that I don't cut any corners and I really give it a good chance. So yeah, as you can see, I've got a bunch of critters on my face, and I have nothing on my face except moisturizer, a facial oil, which I'll tell you why I used in a second, and a primer, and that's it. And I do this for every foundation review simply because that's how I wear foundation. If I didn't apply moisturizer and primer and all that good stuff, then it wouldn't be a fair review for me, because that's what I do every day. And if I tried a foundation assuming that people who are going to watch the video don't wear moisturizer or don't wear primer, then it may not work for me, and I'm giving a negative review over something that may have been a positive one if I had done my steps. So as you can see in the title, this is a review over the Maybelline Instant Age Rewind Eraser Treatment Makeup, and this is the foundation with the little sponge tip applicator. I am going to go ahead and apply this so I don't have to sit here during the entire video with no makeup on, with all these things jumping off my face. So let's just go ahead and get started. I'm just going to tell you guys a little bit about the foundation as I'm applying it, but I'm going to save the majority of the information that I have for after the foundation. So like I said, this is a sponge tip applicator. So what I do is just apply this all over my face, and I should probably have a mirror nearby. And I pretty much just cover pretty much the entirety of my face to where I can't really see any skin. This foundation, first of all, is in the shade Classic Ivory. What I've noticed about Maybelline foundations is that they're all very, very pink toned. Like, I haven't tried a Maybelline foundation other than the Dream Wonder foundations that aren't pink toned. So I'm going to use my Makeup Geek Face Buffer brush, which is my favorite foundation brush. And this foundation really blends out extremely easily. Like, it just kind of like blurs all of your imperfections. As you can see, it's not completely covering up my acne. So I would say that this starts out at about a light or medium coverage, depending on how much you apply in the beginning. I can usually get a pretty good medium coverage. Now, I don't know if you guys are going to be able to see this, but this does not match my neck completely. I haven't really figured out if I'm more cool or neutral toned, but I'm definitely not this pink. So there is kind of like a difference between my face and my neck. That kind of does bother me, but once I apply powder and I'm done with all my makeup and stuff, it kind of just blends in. So that is my first layer. As you can see, it did not cover up my acne on my forehead or this acne over here. So I'm going to go ahead and apply my second layer and just do the exact same thing I did before. So this foundation, like I said, is very, very blendable. It's very creamy, and it just kind of makes you look like you've got like airbrush skin. Like, it just looks really, really flawless. So up here, I'm just going to kind of stipple it in a little more for better coverage. And it's okay if I don't cover every single thing. Like, I'm okay with that. I don't like to like suffocate my skin and smother it. So I just kind of work with the foundation's coverage. So that's pretty much the second layer. As you can see, it didn't really cover these up here. But yeah, they are red. And they are kind of irritated right now, but it is almost that time of the month, so this happens every time. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and apply the rest of my makeup so you guys can kind of see how it looks when everything is put together, and then I'll be right back. Okay guys, I'm back with my face on. So as you can see, there's not a huge problem with the color now. Everything just kind of blended in, and it's going to blend in a lot better if you use a powder to set it that is like a colored powder. I use translucent powder and it works fine. So I'm not going to do the whole check-in thing like I did before, because I pretty much know exactly how it worked on me and stuff. And when I get back to the apartment officially, I would like to start doing check-ins by my camera. Instead of just like telling you guys how it works, I'll check in like every few hours or something so you guys can see how it looks. But until then, we're stuck with this. And before I get started, the price point of this is between like $9 and $12 depending on where you get it. I think Walmart's about the cheapest you can find it. So I'm going to go ahead and read you guys what it says on the Ulta website. It says super concentrated formula with goji berry and collagen, tightens and improves skin elasticity. It does have SPF 18. The eraser is protected with an antimicrobial system. I've always been kind of concerned with the sponge tip applicator because I really like it, because I really think it smooths it on very nicely and it's not as messy as putting it on the back of your hand. It always kind of bothered me because I would use this to wipe this all over my face, even with acne, and I feared that it would be like a bacteria harboring life sucker. And when I read that, it kind of relieved me. So if you don't know what antimicrobial means, it just means that it kills bacteria and prevents the spread of bacteria. So if you use this on your face directly, it's not going to, like, when it touches your acne and you touch the rest of your face, it's not going to spread bacteria. So that is definitely a plus, and it makes me feel a whole lot better. To clean the applicator, wipe off excess foundation with a dry tissue only. I have not cleaned it. This is the first time I've read it, so I didn't know you should even clean it. But why would you have to clean it if it's an antimicrobial system? Now I'm worried again. It instantly erases fine lines, creases, and age spots with the first anti-aging makeup combining the patented micro corrector applicator and a breakthrough formula with active ingredients. So that's pretty much all it says. So yeah, so you're supposed to actually clean it. What I didn't know until like a few months ago is that you can also take off this applicator, and I'm not going to do it right now because it'll get all over my hands. I don't have anything to wipe it off with. But you can actually just pull this sponge tip off, and it's just a little tube, and you can use the tube, and you twist it up the exact same way, and you can use the tube if you want to put it on the back of your hand or whatever, like the normal way you would do it. So it's nice that it gives you that little alternative if you don't trust this little antimicrobial system. So let's go ahead and talk about the packaging really quick. I do like the packaging. I like that it twists up. I would prefer a pump or a tube or something. I don't really know what the sponge tip applicator has to do with it being anti-aging, but I do like the packaging. However, I was noticing that, like, I haven't used this very much, and it's like significantly low. It's like about halfway down, and I don't feel like I've used a whole lot, because this isn't something that you have to twist up a lot during the application process, because there's a lot of product that is absorbed into the sponge that you can use, which can be a good thing or a bad thing, but it's got that antimicrobial system in it. But then I was looking last night, and there's only 0.68 fluid ounces in this. So the average amount of foundation that comes in a package is usually 1 fluid ounce. So that kind of upsets me a little bit, because this is a fairly expensive drugstore foundation. It runs up to like $12 at least. I think I found mine for like 10 or 11. But the fact that I'm kind of getting shorted that much product kind of gets on my nerves, because if you're going to price something that high, I don't want to be buying something just for the package. I want to be buying something for the product. So if it's so expensive to make this type of packaging, then maybe you should change the packaging, Maybelline, and put some more product in there, and then, we'll talk about the $10 or $11 if it's worth spending. Let's talk about the coverage now. Like I said while I was doing the demo, this is about a medium coverage. If I don't have a lot to cover, I can get, it looks pretty flawless. I can get a pretty good, decent coverage out of this. If you have a lot of problematic areas, if you have a lot of acne breakouts, or a lot of redness or something, you're going to have a hard time covering it up with this. So I wouldn't really recommend this foundation if you do have those problems, if you do have a lot of breakouts or whatever. Just kind of stay away from this, because it's just not going to cover. As you can see, these aren't even that major. Like, they're not even raised or anything. They're just red, and they're just kind of there. And it didn't really cover it. So that's kind of a con too. So as far as the finish goes, I would say this is a natural or satin finish. So when you're applying this product and you're blending it out, it just kind of like blurs your skin. Like, it just gives this like soft focus effect, and it's really, really beautiful when you first apply it. It definitely doesn't look that way for the entire time that you're wearing it. It just really gives your skin a nice airbrush finish. So if you are someone that doesn't have a lot to cover, you're definitely going to love this foundation for those aspects as far as the coverage and the finish, because the finish is it's very, very beautiful. So now let's talk about what I think is one of the most important features of a foundation: the longevity, how long it wears on the skin. I can get a good between 4 and 6 hour wear of this foundation without any fading of anything, like without any fading of the foundation or what I wear on top, like the blush and the highlight and the bronzer and all that stuff. And that's not very good to me. Like, I want a foundation that's very long wearing, because I'm not the type of person that touches up throughout the day. I put my makeup on one time during the day. I do not touch up. I do not powder. I do not blot. It better look good by the time I take it off, or it's a no-go for me. So yeah, this foundation is a very, very short wearing foundation. I'm very disappointed with it, and that's even with a primer. I wear a primer every single time, and I've tried with multiple primers thinking that maybe it's the primer that's not doing its job, but it's the foundation. It just does not want to stay on the skin. But yesterday I wanted to do like a little test and see if a setting spray really made a difference. So yesterday on one side of my face I did not use a setting spray, on the other side I did. And the setting spray I use is this new L'Oreal Infallible setting spray. I will get into like a full in-depth review of this in a future video, but I could definitely tell a difference in my makeup. Like this side of my face where I used the setting spray, everything was intact after the 6-hour mark. And on this side you can definitely see it was definitely fading, especially in my cheek area. Like everything I put on top of my foundation and stuff wasn't as prominent as this side. Like this side, it looked like I had just applied it still. So a setting spray makes the world of difference. So I definitely recommend, especially this one. Like I have pretty good setting sprays. I think that they work with a lot of foundations that I have. But this is the only one that I've used in my collection that really made a difference with the longevity of this foundation. So this setting spray had this foundation wearing for at least 8 hours. I think I had it on for 8 to 9 hours. So it definitely made a difference. So I recommend a setting spray with this foundation. And what I noticed about this foundation is that it emphasizes dry areas that I don't have. Like I don't really understand where the dry areas are coming from, but like the longer I wear it, and I'm not really saying it gets cakey, but it just gets kind of like flaky in places, and it just makes me look like I have dry skin, particularly in like this area and like my T-zone. Yeah, I don't really understand why that is, because this is targeted at aging mature skin, and most of the time if we have more mature skin we have drier skin, just because, you know, naturally as we get older and our skin matures, we lose the collagen in our skin and the elasticity and the moisture. I don't know how this would work on someone with dry skin if it works like that on me with oily skin. Another thing I recommend, I mentioned in the beginning of the video that I had applied an oil, but when I apply a facial oil, and this is the Olay Regenerist Luminous Facial Oil Daily Treatment, when I use this, it really helps to not get those dry patches on my skin that come out of nowhere from this foundation. As it does with any foundation, I find that I do not get cakey or heavy makeup at all when I use an oil. So that's just a little quick tip, but it definitely does work with this foundation. But yeah, I think this is going to work differently for everyone, because I have seen some good reviews of it. I'm kind of indifferent about this as far as who it's going to be good for. But yeah, I'm just going to have to say, if you want to try this foundation, try it. However, I do not think it's worth it. I think there's a lot better foundations in the drugstore, and for the amount of product that you're getting for the price, it's just not worth it at all. So that is pretty much it for my review. If you have any requests for foundation reviews or any type of product, leave them in the comments below. Thumbs up if you like this video, subscribe, and I hope you guys have a beautiful day. Mwah.